Okay, so thank you for joining us back again. There was an aspect I wanted to take a moment to share with you. Now this thing is being silly. Hold on. There we go. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
So when you're attempting to capture a baseline, of course, you're going to run system updates, and you're going to run updates for all of the primary applications there. You're going to weed the software garden by going into programs and features. It's this one that I find the most intriguing here. User accounts review. This is the one that catches people off guard. You see, when you get into your own weeds, sometimes you find out that there's uninvited guests on your system. We've actually seen this happen for some of our students, right? We're still recording, right? Yeah. All right. So there's a number of places where you can gauge whether or not you've had uninvited guests. And the first stop we want to make is in the users directory of your C drive. So if you go into the users directory of the C drive, I go into my C drive, there's a users directory, and this is where you'll find a couple of folders. Now, the default folder is normal. The public folder is normal. You don't always see them if hidden items is unchecked. But remember, when you're in File Explorer, this should be checked so that hidden items are taken care of. What's the default user folder used for, you might ask? Does everyone see here how you have a documents folder, a documents directory in the default?
Wait,
Wait, you're
so
not
I don't
sharing
think
your
you're.
screen.
Yeah, you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. It'll be in the video, though. This portion will be in the video. Can everybody see this part?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have users in our users directory. That's C:\users, right? So I'm in my C drive and I look, and as long as my view is set to show hidden names, I'll be able to see a user profile called default. If you put something in desktop or documents or pictures or videos, when a new user is added to the system, it automatically gets the contents of the desktop, the documents, the music, the videos and pictures. That's what happens. Anything that's created or loaded, preloaded into the default user's profile, when you create a new user, they inherit the contents of that user profile. So that's what the default profile is for, and it's a hidden folder. I also want you to notice this too, ntuser.dat. This is the data file associated with a user profile. There's one for each user profile. If I go into here in Kentop and I look, I'm going to view details, and I look, there's ntuser.dat. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Does everybody see how much larger my active profile is? 15 megs, right? Compared to the other one, which is only a few kilobytes. So what I would expect to see on this system is only one user account, because the public is a default folder. It's a system created folder. And in here, if you put stuff in public and there are other workgroup computers connected to your network, if it's in public, oftentimes those are shared automatically. They're accessible to the public. So the default user folder is significant because you can preload content when you create new user accounts and they automatically get it. The public user profile is significant because you can preload content in here. And a lot of times people don't understand that. So if somebody hacks your system and they put stuff in public music or pictures, and then your local network, you browse each other's media, you can put hidden payloads in that way, okay? But that's one place you want to look. And you don't want to see anything that you don't know about. I have a single login on this computer, and it has to do with my Google account that starts with TC Kentop, right? So when I created a user account on my system, it created this directory in the users folder. That's what I would expect to see. If I see anything extra with hidden items enabled, then I have a problem. Any questions about the users folder?
No, no questions.
Now let's look at the user's account in Control Panel. When you access managing other users, okay? So what are we talking about? We go into Control Panel, and in Control Panel, I go to the users option. If you're looking and it's showing this, you need to change the view by from category to large. You want to go to user accounts. And you want to look and manage another account. If you see something else there, that's another place you would find a lurking uninvited guest. Any questions about where to look in Control Panel to see whether something is here? The third thing, right? The third thing, you can find user accounts. Was that number 3? That's number 2. The host account, the one you were logged in for this solution. Family and users. Okay, so we go to settings and accounts. This is the third area you use. What we mean by that is instead of Control Panel, you're going to go into here, go into settings. We're going to go into accounts. And then we're going to look at, you can look at family, and you can also look at other users. Other users. If you go into here and you see another user, this is another place where you could find an illicit unauthorized account set up. You could also find cases where people have slipped in with family or with access or work accounts. But in general, this is one place you want to look. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Fourth place. Now this is a little harder to demonstrate because there's a computer management console. And if you're using Windows Professional Edition or Education Edition, you can actually open up and see users and groups in here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you an example of that. But if I try to do that here, and I open up my Windows Explorer, and I select the name of my computer, in this case, I've called my computer name Zorg, right? So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and then right-click it, and I go to Show More Options and Manage. What will appear is a Microsoft Management Console. It's called an MMC. And this Microsoft Management Console is called Computer Management. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
I'm using the Home Edition of Windows 11, so I don't see users and groups here. And if that's the case for you, because you have Home Edition, I want you to capture this screenshot. And then in your submission, I want you to say, I have a Home Edition. I couldn't see or do this one, okay? But let's look at what it's like inside another place that has professional edition or has yeah. I'm talking about professional edition, corporate edition, enterprise edition, education edition. Stand by. Everybody sees that I'm using two-factor authentication for my more secure Google account, right? Everybody sees that?
Yeah.
Now, this is another way you shake off uninvited guests. I'm going to go here and I'm going to access a machine that has Windows Education Edition. So this is a corporate edition of Windows. If you can hang on for just another minute, the last one is a doozy. The last one is really cool, where you find uninvited guests. And it's a place that most hackers are, well, let's just say that they don't always cover their tracks. So I'm going to go to the Windows screen. Let me maximize full screen. You can still see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And I want my taskbar to go away. Oh, that is true. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to open up File Explorer. And I'm going to open up my Manage option with a right click. And now it's Computer Management. Can everybody see this one and how it differs?
Yeah, we can see it.
So if you go into here, sometimes you find strays in here that you didn't know about, right? Especially ones that might have been disabled if they're covering their tracks. It's important to, if you have a system that's professional edition or corporate edition, education edition, you're going to want to look in here. That's the fourth option for checking to see if you have uninvited guests. And there is one more final one that we'll take a look at, and it has to do with the profile. The user profiles inside the registry. Has anyone ever heard the term Windows registry before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Windows registry is kind of like the database behind the Windows operating system. It's considered to be a part of the internals of the operating system. And more importantly, let's look at, I was going to show you that's how Maersk is, there are containers, shipping containers with this name on it, on St. Croix and St. Thomas. So anyway, not to digress, let's show you this one last thing. It's really significant. There is a hidden place. Well, it's not intuitive, but basically you go to HKey local machine. So that's what HKLM stands for. It's software, Microsoft Windows NT current version profile list. What I want to do is show you where this is inside the registry. So I open up regedit. The first thing I do is search for regedit. And we're 60 seconds away from closing for the day. So I open up regeditor. And what I'm going to do in regedit, if I was in there before, it remembers where I was. I'm going to collapse everything so you know where we're starting. This is the opening view of regedit. Okay. And I'm going to go to local machine. I open up the key, the hive key, H key. These are hives. So it's kind of, think of it like a beehive, right? There are sets of keys they call a hive. And one of them is called local machine. And then there's another one called software. And then I go to where? It's Microsoft. Yeah. Then what was it? Windows NT. Current version. And then profile list. If I expand this, what I see if I click this one is a reference to my users folder. Can everybody see users TC Ken?
Yeah.
Okay, these other three don't have an extra identifier. These other three are the default and public profiles. System profile, right? Default profile and public. Kind of, sort of. I'm going to check that, but you see network service here, you see service profiles. These three are associated with the default profiles that we were talking about before. You're always going to see three of them, and it's going to be like 18, 19, and 20, but then there's another one here. And if you see extras in here, sometimes you'll see temporary ones. If you see temporary ones or other ones that don't exist in your user folder, if they're not in your users, then you have an uninvited guest. And this is often where we find breadcrumbs. Remember to expand the profile list so that it shows this, and then click on yours, your account, and then show your path to the user's profile on the C drive. Okay? Does everybody understand what I'm saying here for your solution? Okay, this concludes our session. Before we clear, does anyone have any comments based on what we've shared about the regedit? One thing you have to remember about regedit is that you shouldn't make changes. As soon as you make changes, they're applied instantly to the operating system. So it's a good idea to go looking in there, but not changing anything in there unless you absolutely know what you're doing. And it's always advisable to keep a spare backup copy of the registry by using the registry tool to save a backup copy. That's one final disclaimer about regedit. You can export your registry to keep an extra copy in case something gets barfed when you're in there looking at the hives. I'm going to close this. I hope you have a good weekend. Good luck with your first attempt of the Module 2 assessment. Remember that it's due by 1 p.m. on Monday. And have a safe and pleasant weekend.